Hi there, and welcome to my weekly vlog. And what a week it's been. I'm going to start with what's happening in the present moment, which I always find to be fun and informative. I have a dear friend, Daniel, who we went to graduate school together. And he, um, so he and I started graduate school 2009, I think. Anyway, we really helped each other get through graduate school. It was a very small cohort, and he lived in Cambridge at the time, and I'm right next door, and so we would spend ungodly amounts of hours together. Um, we would we used to call it jellying because at the time there was this practice in the youngins where they would get jelly beans and they would have co-working situations and they would all share in the jelly beans. And so we used to call our time together that we would be jellying. Hi, Sandra. So good to see you. Let me know who's here and put your highs in the chat. Um, anyway, Um, so Daniel appeared this afternoon, which is a big deal. He lives in Oregon. He's married now and has a wonderful wife who they both come and whenever they're in Boston, they come and they visit and will stay here with me for a day or two. So we always do catch up. And so anyway, Daniel's on the East Coast. He lives in Oregon now and he's on the East Coast for a leadership conference. He has a leadership role in high tech, and that was when I tell everyone I'm a geek. That was my graduate school was a bit geeky, so Daniel was my master geek friend. So hi, Marcia from Wisconsin, and Julie from California, and Mary. Hi, good to see you, Mary. Um, I always want to say Mary Kay. I know that's your last name, but but it always goes together for me. Hi, Marilee from the Pacific Northwest. So anyway, Daniel showed up just overnight. He's going to a leadership conference this week up in with his company in Portland, Maine, and he and Rachel will come back through on Thursday on their way to the airport. So, but the thing that I want to talk about, so that's my background, that's my story about Daniel. But what I want to talk about is the people in our lives that are a through line, that they're there. And it doesn't matter with Daniel, it doesn't matter if it's been 6 months or a few weeks or even sometimes a year. Whenever he shows up, it's almost like, oh, all right. It's like we just pick up the conversation where we left it off. And I think there's something about those relationships in our lives that are about the kind of longevity that we have in knowing someone and being known and having a history together. Um, Hi, Michelle and Jerry. So good to see you all. Thank you. Jerry says I look great. I'm doing better and better. I'm still in the healing process, but I am doing so much better. And I'm so psyched. So, Daniel showed up at exactly the right moment. He has an uncanny way of doing that because I'm now in the process of preparing to move. I actually spent a good chunk of today packing. Now I'm moving the end of June, so it's still still a ways off, but I've already got stuff packed and piled, and I'm like definitely looking forward to the move and looking forward. So Daniel is just such an amazing techie person. He set up all my entertainment systems. I have a big, you know, flat screen TV that he set up for me, all that kind of stuff. So he's coming back a couple of times in June. So he's going to set everything up for me in my new place. So I'm like, phew, I was worried about how I was going to get it all done. And so there's something about those relationships and those connections that offer so much support to us. And and so I want to, give a shout out to my friend Daniel, but really all of the people in our lives that are there for us on an ongoing basis. And you might think about, who is that for you? Who is it that, you have that kind of trust with? Yeah, the first thing, Daniel, he came in and he said, because I have surround sound when I moved in here, which was in 2009. I got a surround sound system with speakers and everything. He said, the technology's advanced. You don't need that. They have wireless and yada, yada, yada. So he showed me something I can get that'll make it all much easier. So that kind of stuff, just at the right time and the right moment. And so I feel blessed. I feel blessed, and I'm inviting you to also, like, who is that for you? And how does that show up in your life? The right person at the right time. And the person, like with Daniel, I really feel like, we'll just pick up the conversation wherever we left off. I'm trying to remember. He was here. I can't even remember. I think a few months ago. Daniel, when was the last time you were here? He's watching the basketball game. That's all right. I think it was at least a few months ago. I think it was around the holidays. Yeah, it could have been around the holidays because Rachel's family is in Providence, Rhode Island. So anyway, so that was one of the things that I wanted to start just riffing about, because I keep thinking about the relationships and what shows up. And I know I started to talk about Perry Nicholson because Anita turned me on to him. Well, I met with him on Thursday. I met with him, and he opened a whole new thinking process about what's going on in the central lymphatic system and what's happening with my diaphragm. And so I made an appointment to go see him. He's in New Jersey. It's 4-hour drive, but no problem. Um, and his first available appointment was August. So in August, I'll go see him. In the meantime, there's a ton of videos, and I actually have a sense, I'm afraid to say this, I just have a sense that, all right, let me step back. I am a believer that for every problem, there's a pathway and a solution. It may not be the solution I want it to be, and there may be complexities to it, but I always think that there's a solution. And so I think to these lymphatic issues that I've been having, I think there is a solution. And that my task is to just keep taking the next step. It's how I have been with lipedema. So dealing with the lymphatic system is just the next step of that. So I will let you know. He has something called the Big Six. What is the Big Six? It is a 6 point self MLD, and it's actually very simple. Starts with the collarbone, starts with circling the collarbone, first one side, then the other side, and then tapping, tapping, and then both sides of the neck. That's two of the Big Six. I'm going very quickly. Then the shoulder, which is where the axilla is, right where the shoulder and the armpit, both sides. Then the abdomen, and then the area in the groin, right where the thigh, the leg, and the groin. There's a crease there on both sides, and then the back of the knee. So 6 points that you manually stimulate and tap. So I've been doing it. It's actually moved the fluid because I do that and I do the parent work. So between the two of them, um, there's definitely some progress and some movement. Uh, Sandra, I want to put what you said up here because I think it's important. It's frustrating, but hopefully he can help. I feel like a dog chasing its tail part of the time, trying to get help. The reason I listen to you and try to learn. Yep. Yeah. Because, yeah, for whatever reason, I have been blessed because no matter how complicated the problems are, no matter what's going on, somehow there's a light and somehow there's a way to find some solution, which has been my history, which has been what has worked for me. So I will stay the course and I will keep doing that. So so that was my reflections for this week. That was what I was thinking, and as I was reflecting and really, feeling a blessing, feeling it to be a blessing. So, so we'll see what happens. My goal is to be able to breathe again because this has been going on since November of 2022, where I'm having a hard time breathing. But we'll see. Uh, oh, good. Kristen says that the Miranda group has been talking about it. Anita. Anita is the one who really brought it into my awareness and just has been having such good luck with it. I'm like, all right, I'm sold. All right. She'll text me and say, did you do your Big Six? And I'm like, not yet, but I'll do it now. So I'm now getting into when I wake up in the morning, the first thing that I do is I put my legs over the side of the bed and I start in with the tapping. It's great. It's wonderful. Again, community and what it does for us. So, a couple of things I want to say that we are having our get togethers, our meetups in June. So there's going to be a whole, let me see if I can find the link. I'm looking for the link. Oh, it's going to take me a minute to find it. Hang in there with me for a minute, um, so I can give it to you. I'm hosting. Gail is hosting. Siobhan is hosting. Kristen is hosting in Sacramento. Jerry is hosting in Pennsylvania. Um, and there's a whole list. I don't have the list. Isla has the list. Hold on a minute. Where is it? Here it is. Heart to Heart Circles for June. Okay, I think I might be able to share the link with you guys. I'm not even sure if it's. Oh, how nice. Isla's been keeping it up. Oh, this is great. Wow. So I know the one we're having here in Boston because it's me and Deborah Jerzak. We're hosting on Sunday, June 2nd. And what I'll probably do is I'll come to you from Panera Bread, which is where we're going to be meeting. And but there's a whole lot of amazing women who are hosting. So there's Nashville, Meriden, Idaho, which is Gail near Boise, Tamarack, Florida, which is probably Bertha, Garner, North Carolina, which is probably Julie, Pittsburgh, which is Jerry, Oklahoma City, which is Mary, and Beaverton, Oregon, which is Lisa and Christy. And I know there are others. So I'm putting the link. Okay, I'm putting the link wherever it goes. Hi, Irene. It's so good to see you. How are things in New Zealand? Okay, ladies. Some of them went out, some of them didn't. The link definitely went out on YouTube, may not have gone out on Facebook, but hopefully. Here, you know what I'll do? I'll put it here. It's easy. It's our learn.lipedema-simplified.org/heart-circles. Our heart circles, which will be fabulous. So you can sign up for whichever one. We had a blast last year. So that's why we're doing it again. And let's see what else. I think that's really the big news for coming up in June. Pretty low key, but fun. A couple of webinars, definitely one on pain management. We're in the midst of putting that together. The other thing is we have the artsy fartsy starting up in 10 minutes. So if you're around, come to our artsy fartsy. You will have an email. You would have gotten an email about it. So that's my reflections for this week. Oh, no, there's one other thing I want to say. So we had a fabulous, fabulous event in April on nutrition. And I personally struggle with compulsive eating, food addiction. And one of the things, Dr. Jen Unwin was one of our speakers. She was terrific. And she talked about a conference that she was producing in the UK on May 17th, which was Friday, on food addiction. And I've been around Overeaters Anonymous for many, many, many years and all of the work on food addiction. But something drew me to it. So I did the conference on Friday, which was a big deal because it started at 3:30 a.m. my time. But I got up and started at 3:30 a.m. and it lasted through until about 2:30 or something our Eastern time. And it was spectacular. There was such good, good work. Um, there was just such good work and good um, collaboration and discussion about the nature of our food right now and the level of ultra processed food, which is addictive by its very nature. And the, you know, part of my addiction is to volume. So there's some craving for feeling more than just full, but really full. And so there's this addiction to volume, which I've been aware of, but they talked about it and it made sense to me because if you're not satisfied by what you're eating, then more is what we go for, even though that's not what we really want. So, anyway, more to come. It has been incredibly illuminating for me, and I will be sharing more about it along the way. But I have to go open the room for Shaban, who is leading the artsy fartsy tonight. And so, thank you for showing up. Thank you for your comments. Irene, it's cold in New Zealand. It's summer here, but that means it's winter where you are. Oh, good, Marilee. Beaverton, Oregon is going to be Christy and Lisa, and it's going to be wonderful. You'll have a blast. So, have a wonderful week, everyone. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Thank you for being a part of this. Wow, what a ride! Many, 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 many blessings, and we will keep going.